Yeah, right now.
Yes, thank you.
I was seeing stuff that he's making a deal. Wow, you want to show up there.
That's crazy.
How are you talking to me? Yeah. Can you talk to me? I'm just trying to. Just say a few words of interest.
A few words of interest? This is a few words of interest. Can you hear me now?
I'll find out in a minute.
Time question is
I was just, I went to New Zealand, it was way too much stuff. And I'm carrying around.
Hello, Marcel.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
I got my first game experience back when I first started watching but I wanted something small and light. And they made a little mechanical yellow not interchangeable lens. And I had microphone chips there. And I quite liked it. And then I started thinking about it. I got their GX85, which was slightly larger. That one had interchangeable lens.
I bought Sony point and shoot, but it is. Okay, it had a lens. Extend zoom. And I bought that up to see my backup camera. My camera breaks up with this camera. It's a good camera. I'm not sure. It's pretty well.
They are good company.
And I get to on it. Yes. And then I had the R5. It's great. She's gonna have a backup camera, make subsets that I have in the because that way I don't have to screw up.
So this is really nice to use.
So for 2 or 3 years
The
now.
search bar to get this kind of history.
It's off the same program.
Yes.
Give it
But
to
will you
somebody.
take them to the search bar? I'm getting tired of the same.
Soft, melodic.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that.
That was.
Okay, yeah, that's a good start.
I gotta figure out.
Testing, 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 testing. Testing, testing.
My kids do it all the time. Oh, okay, good. Me too. It's good.
Yeah. So far, so good, Barry.
So far, so good.
Hello, hello.
Otherwise, it's some guys. Early, and he was constructed 23 and one is 40. And originally, I think the deal with him that he canceled workshops. And so many, I said, you know, he says, I'll do it for free, and he canceled. So he says, yeah, you could, I felt like, okay,
I've gone,
so accommodating. That's good. And, you know, just had to start. And he's not like, he's in great shape. Super fine.
Unless the video is fine, it's hard.
Okay. We still got. Late Saturday. Oh, you did it.
Hello, hello.
Yes, I got it.
Said to me, when I was talking to him. That's why I want to work it out. But he said,
Hello.
only do it once there. It's not the I said, make it a present. No, I want to be a workout. I said, we don't. He said, well, it's probably not worth coming to anyway. He said, I'm quite sure Sigma's not coming. Yeah, I had already contacted Sigma. They had referred back to know the information. I sent it to him. Sure enough, the next day I got one. Sigma said they weren't coming. So, and he was sponsored last year by Sigma. So this time he got, in fact, he said, I'm not going to have a sponsor. I said, well, I know, and my favorite one.
Mike.
You know, argue, call me 3, 4 times when they chance. Can't you have them here in a dime? Let them choose where they want. I said, they all the tickets. Yeah, yeah.
Hello.
It's just a policy. It's just something always in the policy to be. When I married somebody, maybe I don't know, well, I don't know. What I think. That's fine. Nobody would have a problem with that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thanks. I'll be okay. Sure. Okay. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that won't be a problem.
Good evening and welcome to our 222nd meeting. Yeah, it's a lot of meetings.
It's a lot.
Are there any new members here tonight? You want to stand up and say hi to everybody and tell us a little bit about yourself?
I took a class with you, Sonny.
Oh, wonderful.
I'm here tonight, and I'm not joining the free yet, so I'm checking it out. My name is Brandon. And I live in Vegas today. Glad to be here.
Thank you.
Asking if we pass. Everybody passes.
You want to know if you pass? I said everybody passes. Yes, sir, go ahead.
No, I'm with them.
Okay. Any guests here tonight? No, new guests, that's great. Thank you. I'm also glad you came. And if you enjoy it, it's $40 a year. It's, we hope it's worth your while. We think so. I'm sure you're all aware we had a membership campaign. And it's coming to an end because the cards have an expiration date on them. But we did have 3 winners tonight. And the first winner is Elaine Sokol. Are you here, Elaine? Saltecki, I'm sorry. You want to come up? Or here, I can give it to you. And she got Kelly Barla.
Thank you. Kelly's here.
And Kelly's here. Fantastic, Kelly. Art David, where's Art David? Art David has 3 of them.
Wow.
Heidi Clark, Terry Beaufort, and Marjorie Massey.
39 beers.
All right, and Marcel Samples for David. David, thank you. All right.
The fellow that joined that I recommended, he quit.
For those of you who are not aware, we have an F3C conference coming up in a couple of weeks, and you'll hear more about it tonight. There's a lot of speakers, a lot of presentations, a great conference for the Florida Camera Club Council. And if you're a member of DPI-SIG, we offer a $29 discount. When you sign up to get your ticket for the conference, you simply put down, it says club, you put down DPI-SIG and you automatically get a $29 discount. And then the club makes that up to the F3C at the end. So we have 8 door prizes tonight. We hope everybody wins. And I'll turn it over to Marcel, our Master of Ceremonies.
Before we start, there's something that's been pervasive in all clubs that I belong to. And quite frankly, all the way from grade school, it's not a joke. So you don't have to be prepared to laugh. This one's not a joke. But we talked about it in our board meeting sometime about our group here and the F3C and so forth. But it's very important that when we get a new member, please make them feel welcome. Ask them about themselves, where'd you come from, have conversations with them, because one of the most difficult things for me, it's not difficult because I'm a big mouth, it's easy for me to fit in. I don't care. I force myself in, but many people don't. So please try to make them feel welcome. I know I belong to other clubs, have nothing to do with photography. And I see people they come to the first meeting, the second one, maybe the third one, they never show up again. Because they feel like they've been off on an island and people don't talk to them. So I would engage them in conversation, try to make them feel welcome, and make them actually feel a part of our group immediately. The one thing that we tried to do in some of the other clubs that I belong to that I recommended was get them to volunteer for a small job when they first joined, because it's an opportune time to get them involved and to keep them involved, to keep them. But all clubs lose members simply because after 2 or 3 months, they don't feel welcome. And they don't understand why people don't engage them in conversation and invite them to their table, wherever, and make them feel good about themselves. So seriously, please try to do that. I think it's very important. Certainly after the pandemic, all groups have noticed a much diminished audience. Live audiences are hard to get these days. Many camera clubs, as well as other clubs, have failed and closed up because they couldn't grow the numbers after the pandemic. And it's been an ongoing challenge for a long time. I must say, I'm delightfully surprised to see a decent number of people here tonight. It looks good. And I know I complained 3 or 4 months ago about we saw more men than ladies. Where were the ladies? So thank God the ladies are here and they're supporting the club. So, all right, so we'll get started. Pardon me?
I'm going to introduce them.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Marcel. First on our program tonight is the Collier County Sheriff's Office. When I set up the outing up at the Special Operations, thank you. I'm afraid of medical terms, so. I noticed on the helicopter they had this incredible video camera. And I thought, well, geez, it would be nice if we could find out something about that. Well, so I pursued that with the sheriff's department and meandered my way through several people. They're probably in jail now after talking with me. And found out that particular camera is a piece of tactical gear and they don't talk about it. But they are willing to talk about some other things that they do with photography and videography. So who's up first? Caitlin?
So,
Caitlin and I have been emailing back and forth as we got her PowerPoint presentation here. And she will introduce the rest of their team as they move along here. Thanks, Caitlin.
Now I know all of you guys are typically behind the camera, but y'all should be in front of it. Y'all look great.
all right.
Whoop, not too far. Small screen here.
There we go.
How's that look?
That looks
Good.
perfect. Actually, I think that's the camera version. Do you want to pull up the PowerPoint version?
Oh,
It was
you're
on your
right,
desk.
you're right,
Sorry
you're
about
right.
that.
No, you arrest me.
Oh, I don't have that capability.
You don't have that?
No,
Sure.
they don't let me.
It was citizens.
She knows people though.
That's right. That's right.
There we go.
All right. Well, thank you guys for all having us. As we've said before, I'm Caitlin. Do you guys want to step up so that we're all up here? We all. We all have little separate bios that we'll touch upon and go from there, but I believe Jennifer was first. You got this.
Well, that's your such.
Do you want to know that? Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jennifer. So I am with the Collier County Sheriff's Office in the Crime Scene Division. So I actually just became a crime scene investigator too. I've been employed with Collier County Sheriff's Office for 4.5 years. I did start out at the jail. I was a jail technician there. As a jail technician.
Sorry.
Oh, that's true. Okay. As a jail technician, we're the people who receive the inmates. We take their clothes, give them the orange suit. We do the booking reports. We get them ready to go to court. I always wanted to be in crime scene. I didn't want to go to the jail, but I had to get my foot in the door. So I started somewhere. Once I did that for 2 years, I then transferred over to crime scene. I do have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I am from the East Coast, from Miami, and I moved down here. And yeah, that's pretty much it about me. And I've been in crime scene now for 2 years. So in the jail for 2 years, crime scene for 2 years. Nice. Oh, switch. It's good. Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria. I'm from Naples, Florida, born and raised. I've been working with Collier County Sheriff's Office for just about 8 months, so I'm still relatively new. I do have my bachelor's degree in crime scene investigation or public safety management. I have about 6 years of military police in the Air Force. I was stationed overseas, so when I was stationed overseas, I actually explored a little bit with photography with all the beautiful architecture there. I'm also in unexploded ordnance tech, and I initially did not plan to go in crime scene investigation, but with my military background and the fact that I do love photography, I realized how important and fun it could be. Thank you.
All righty, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian, and I've been with the Sheriff's Office for just a little over 3 years. I graduated with my bachelor's from the University of Miami in film production, and then I minored with a degree in communication studies. Film has been a real big part of my life ever since I was young. High school kind of taught myself the ropes, and then I went to school for that. Something that's not up there that I like to share with you is I've done a couple of short films where I've been main cinematographer, editor, all that stuff. I actually won an award for one of the short films that I helped to create, so that's pretty neat. And then my role for the Sheriff's Office is primarily a media relations specialist, or PIO, and you'll hear about that a little bit later on in this presentation. But in addition to that, I'm also part of our drone unit, and I'm a CERT instructor. That stands for Community Emergency Response Team. And then I also assist our redaction unit, go through body cam and dash cam, prepare that for attorneys or other media outlets that have requested this. And then some of my responsibilities, I process inquiries from the media upon request. I redact arrest reports, incident reports, and I do listen to 911 calls. And then I film edit content for the Collier County Sheriff's Office. That's pretty much me in a nutshell.
You guys have already met me already. I'm Caitlin. I am a 25-year-old photographer and videographer. I've been doing photography since I was about 13 years old. I have a bachelor's degree in something completely unrelated to photography. It's actually forensic studies with a minor in psychology. I have been employed with CCSO for 5 years. I actually started as an analyst in our real-time crime center. I don't know if you guys have had an opportunity to see that by any chance. It's really cool. We aided in investigations and provided assistance regarding more live calls, real-time operations, things like that. And then I've been with our media relations department for a little over 1.5 years now. So some of my responsibilities include just taking portraits of our CCSO members. I also photograph and video any social media projects that we might have, as well as photo needs that we would need for any graphics. Sorry. I also coordinate and schedule planned shoots with various departments with our agency. So I know you guys, like you mentioned, went to special ops and got to see like Lieutenant D'Arienzo. I'll go out with aviation, marine, patrol, different departments, get photos of them, use that content for social media purposes. And then I also act as liaison with internal and external partners. So like any of our community partners, such as the shelter, Naples Police Department, any of them. And if they need photo needs, I also coordinate with them. I do shoot with both Nikon and Canon. I personally have a Nikon Z8, and then we use a Canon R5 for work. So to touch base just quickly with our Media Relations Bureau, Brian and I are both from Media Relations. It's also known as the Public Information Office. We have 3 primary functions. We work with media to release public information pertaining to crime and safety. Any social medias that are branded with the Collier County Sheriff's Office, that comes from our office itself. We're also responsible for releasing safety advisories and educational information to the public. We do provide internal communication with CCSO members too, through graphics, flyers, things like that. And typically we just coordinate with the media or any kind of public information that we need to release. It comes through us. As photographers and videographers, we do photograph and video graphics for the purpose of communication. We do share those on our social media platforms to communicate and engage with the community. We provide photo and video assistance for necessary visuals such as event flyers, social media posts and graphics, agency member portraits. Everybody loves to come see me to get their photo taken. I'm sure you guys are aware of that. And then we also capture B-roll for any internal and external needs. So if you go on our social media, any informational videos, most of them come from me and Brian. So yeah. So I'm going to pass it over to Brian. Okay.
All right. So as Caitlin mentioned, we create. That's what we all do in this room. We create. We see something, we want to capture it, we capture it, right? I'm just curious, right? Because Caitlin mentioned her brand and knowledge of cameras. Who here shoots with Canon? Okay. Who here shoots with Nikon? And this is where I'm really interested. Who here shoots with Panasonic? There we go. There we go. Panasonic had a win. No, that's great. That's great. Yeah, he shoots with Sony. That's right. He shoots with Sony. No matter what camera you use, they're all great, especially now in today's day where pretty much everything is the same in terms of megapixels and stuff like that. Like you can hardly tell the difference. But I've gravitated more for work. I use Canon, but I gravitated more for personal with Panasonic just because of all the video capabilities. Like I mentioned, I went to school for film. So when the GH4 came out, that was crazy. But going back to this, as you see here, it's a film studio, right? So this is the newest addition to not just our team, but to the agency as a whole. So just about last year, they began developing this news anchor studio, which you'll see some actual pictures. Right here, some are mock-ups that they provided us with during this process. So this gives us a lot of flexibility, and it is a very versatile space in the sense of what we can create. So if we see this blueprint, we have this big monitor wall. It's a 3x3 television panel that we have two anchors, Adam and Andrea stand in front of. You'll see a photo of them next. On this side, we have two big monitors that we can use whatever we want with, and then we have an interview podcast area, and then right here we have our control room because we do all the editing and all of the capturing within this one area, so it's pretty neat. If we can go to the next one. So here are some of the photos that we've captured just within this 1 year. We produce a program on YouTube and on our Facebook called the Rambosk Report, and it's pretty much a quick synopsis of what's going on week to week, news related. So we'll put arrests, we'll put case updates, we do public safety announcements, and we also mention upcoming events, and we like to highlight those. So that's Adam, that's Andrea, those are our two main hosts. There's the sheriff interviewing with Adam. Up there, what you just previewed was a little pan of the studio itself. It's a wonderful space, and it gives us the flexibility to just be creative and bring news to the public in a different way. So. Oh, and I will mention, we do allow our media partners to come in, and they've come in a bunch of times already to come and grab their own interviews with deputies and with the sheriff himself. So.
What's the name of the report again?
It's called the Rambosk Report. Yeah, R-E-M-B-O-S-K. So it's after Sheriff Rambosk.
You can find it on our Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah. All right, so can we play this video? All right, I'll let it play first.
The Collier County Sheriff's Office drone lead is a spectrum.
You're good. Yeah.
Last team of aerial first responders who provide support from above during times of crisis. Drone operators respond in a number of different scenarios, ranging from traffic, missing persons, search and rescue calls, and large-scale events. We have here our drones have auto imaging cameras, so we're starting here with street dog covers, so we can get some practice finding people in the dark with these cameras. But how exactly does CCSL conduct drone training? A lot of us are stationed in different places in the county, different places in the agency, and coming together to train together really helps us figure out that confusion. But it's more than just the pilot and the drone. So on a scene where there's a call out, there's communicating with the search and rescue teams that are out on the ground.
communicating with dispatch, who's trying to communicate with other parts of the team. And very, very importantly, we need to make sure we're communicating with other pilots, and that not only drone pilots, but manned aircraft or crewed aircraft pilots, to make sure that we're all working together not only safely, but as a cohesive team.
All CCSO drone operators are certified pilots through the FAA and trained on a regular basis to uphold the Collier County Sheriff's Office mission to preserve and protect the lives, property, and constitutional guarantees of all persons.
So I created this video a couple months ago upon request. Our ROC does host tours sometimes, and they wanted to show some of the capabilities of our drone unit. We do have, or we used to have, excuse me, a really big drone unit. About 30 of us used to have drones, and then with new legislation going to American-made drones, our unit has gone down in size a little bit, but that doesn't mean that we're still not, spearheading this type of technology in our everyday, and it's pretty cool. So there are tactical sides of the drone unit that I could go on and explain, because I have been part of those. When the plane crashed last year, right? It was last year? Yes, when the plane crashed last year, we did have drone unit respond to create a perimeter in the sky to make sure everything, to locate and help all that stuff, the deputies on the grounds. But for our purposes, we'll talk about the media side. So this is the drone that has been issued to me. It's a Skydio drone. This, again, is American made, and it has some great functionality. It has GPS, just like the DJI drones. It does shoot in 4K. It can go up to about 35 miles per hour in the sky. So it's a pretty nifty tool to have in our arsenal. Not a lot of people get to have that. And we do use this quite frequently. Every month, or a couple times, and I'm shooting different B-roll with deputies and all that stuff. We just posted yesterday a spring break video. I took this out, went to the beach, captured some stuff, used it with aviation. We had a helicopter do a flyover, and because we wanted to show the capabilities of what we're doing for spring break. And we had aviation go by, and with radio communication, I was able to let them know, hey, I need you to pass by the drone, all this stuff, so I can get you guys going by. And they did that, and we did that a few times. It was great. So having something like this gives us a different perspective of what we can actually shoot and show the public. A question?
What's your battery capacity? How long in the air?
So that all depends on wind conditions and how fast we're actually flying, but more or less about 25 to 30 minutes. Yeah. They're pretty nice. So we can go on to the next one. And then this I just wanted to mention, because we were talking about all video and photo aspects of the sheriff's office. I'm not going to go too much into details with this. All these stills are from previous episodes of the Rambosk report, because we do extract body cam and dash cam, like mentioned, to show people getting arrested and different interactions that we have with these people. But it's listed under redactions because I kind of wanted to show you the view that we see. So the redaction unit, like mentioned before, upon request from lawyers or other media, when they want to see this type of footage, we have to go and review it for sensitive information, like driver's license and all that stuff that's protected under our rights. So we just have to go and kind of like blur it out. You'll see like on YouTube, sometimes people post these types of videos and you'll see boxes like blurred out with sensitive information and stuff. So that's kind of another element of video capabilities that we do. But I just wanted to highlight that real quick. Alrighty, and this is some of Caitlin's favorite photos.
So without getting too much into it, I just wanted to show off some of the things that we get to do on a regular basis that a lot of people don't, and we feel very special to be able to do. This is some of my favorite photos that I've taken in the past year and a half. So this first one, that's actually Lieutenant Dorianzo on the side that you guys met. So this is from the aviation training that I was able to photograph and made some really cool shots, some epic shots of it. This is Remington. You've seen him a few times already in our PowerPoint. He's our crisis care canine. He provides support both to members and victims of crimes. And so he actually, when we first got him, the Florida Sheriff's Association, they have a publication where they announced us getting Remington. And I had to stage a photo of him. So we ended up actually making a little crime scene. And those are actually members of our team. So this is Jamie, who's from our office, Jordan is back there. And then these are just CCSO members. So we used that for the publication and it came to be a really fantastic photo. This is our SWAT team. They were part of a training at JetBlue where it was a multi-agency training just to see how we can all come together when it's a major scale event. So I got to video that and photograph that as well. And then this is Marine. I got to go out on them for a July 4th video and was able to capture that. So that's one of my favorite photos of the dolphin. That's Sergeant SB with his horse Samson. He's a part of our ag unit. So I was able to go out with them. We were filming an informational video about meadowberries and picking those and got to grab that shot. And this one is actually one of my favorites. This is Canine Nitro. We took those photos at Pepper Ranch in Lockley. Keep your eye out on our social media because there might be a certain contest that that photo is a part of that we need the public's help to win. So a little wink, follow us if you don't already, and appreciate if you guys can help us with that. So that's pretty much it for my favorite photos. And now here's Brian's.
All right. This little microphone's going everywhere. All right, so here's some of my photos just to highlight a few things. We do go to community events up there on the top left. We have 2 deputies there. We do follow the sheriff around for very important events as well. Try to capture him interacting with other people, speeches and whatnot. This was pretty cool. In addition to all the video stuff, we also produce a podcast, and that comes out every 2 weeks. It's called Sworn Statement, where we highlight just a bunch of different things that we're doing in the agency. And this was actually something that Adam and I, because Adam runs the podcast, I help him out for recording audio and stuff. But we actually rode along all night with some deputies and just captured, just like how you would see in the show, like Cops, right? So that was pretty cool. I took that photo. I would say this is like in my top 5 favorite photos. This was right before Ian of the pier. Yeah, or like around the Ian time. I don't know if it was before or after. I think it was a little after. Maybe it might be after. Here's a drone photo that I took once I started working with drones. We wanted to highlight it and do a publication for it, so I took those. And this was a training that we did at the Jewish Federation about a year and a half, 2 years ago with SWAT. So that was pretty neat. Can you see the helicopter? I got to climb with my camera gear up this little rebar ladder. So that was a lot of fun trying to get up and down there. But yeah. So that's for me.
Thank you. I am so sorry. I've been waving this microphone around. So sorry. So while he couldn't be here tonight, and as we had discussed with Mr. Stacy, there is some tactical gear that comes with aviation. We do have a little video that kind of covers a little bit of the camera gear that's on the helicopter itself too. So it's going to be Lieutenant Darienzo in the video explaining it. So here you are.
Yes, I'm currently driving. I'm being followed. Can you turn that up? Like the group of relationships, and he keeps
And just to give you guys kind of an insight, this was a case that happened where aviation was pursuing somebody, and they were able to see the subject under like a marsh field where he was hiding under the water, and you can see his head kind of popping out with the infrared camera that he has on the helicopter. So
There. Yep.
Hi, 2911. What is the address of your emergency?
Yes, I'm currently driving. I'm being followed. Okay, like an abusive relationship, and he keeps following me.
Followed by 26-year-old Roberto Calles, who caught up to this victim, fired shots into her car with 4 children inside, and shot a Good Samaritan as well that came to her aid. The incident sparked one of CCSO's most remarkable search operations. It relied on a blend of exceptional teamwork, starting with communications and deputies on the ground, culminating with aviation's discovery of the suspect hiding underwater.
What's great for us is we had so many units, we were able to flood the area and lock the scene down, which gives the specialized units time to get mobilized and
Turning what could have been a multi-day search into only a 3-hour search, the latest in technology aboard CCSO's Bell 429 twin-engine helicopter, a Westcam MX-15 camera capable of 24/7 infrared imaging.
the technology, because it's a bigger camera, is able to do a lot better with pulling the lenses in there for the infrared, which gives us a way to transition through the different properties.
He means all of those things that emit or reflect heat on the ground that the camera is sensing. Humans, animals, and metal stuff like paint cans. More difficult during the day, but now possible.
To have infrared working during the day, you do have to manipulate a lot of your gain and level on the sensors so that, of course, during the day with the sun, everything's gonna be hot. So you wanna break out what's just a little different.
So that's what happened here. After spotting telltale wet footprints inside the perimeter, aviation zeroes in.
This suspect knew to hide in water, which definitely changes the properties of your heat in your body. But of course, you have to breathe, so he had to keep his head and face out of the water.
But it took a trained eye. Lieutenant DiRienzo spotted the proverbial needle in the haystack as he watched the camera screen inside the Bell's cockpit.
Now you see his property on the infrared, the only hot part is the top of his body, because he changed his properties with the water. And then you can see how close those deputies were, mixed in with that grass and underwater. That's how well he was managed.
The dangerous criminal in this case is now behind bars, facing 17 felony charges.
Pretty cool, right? So that kind of leads us into our other forms of photography and videography, which I will pass over to our crime scene photographer. Thank you.
Yeah. No. I just wanted to mention,
I'll hold it for you.
so thanks. When all that footage came in and we're putting this all together to show, you do hear the deputies arm's length. They could not see this guy. Arm's length with all that march happening. So that's how crazy. I just wanted to highlight that. That's how crazy these cameras help us.
Brings into the officer safety perspective that the helicopter can, definitely helps with that.
You want to hold that? Someone had a question. Did you? Yes.
You place the footage and a media company put it together.
Brian actually put that together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, put it together. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm back. So, what does a CSI do? So, anything you think you know, CSI Miami, NCIS, Dexter, throw it away. So as a CSI, we work with detectives and other law enforcement personnel to investigate incidents. We identify, collect, analyze, and document evidence found at crime scenes. Most of the agencies that we work with are NPD, Marco. Sometimes we go out there and do calls for them. Sometimes we go to NPD and help them out. And we worked with the NTIB, I think is what they're called. When the plane crash happened, we worked very close. NTSB, there you go. We worked very close with them. We took all the photos for them and we gave it to them on a CD and they actually used that for the investigation for the plane crash. I have a couple of pictures to show you guys in this slide too. So the types of scenes that we go to are death investigations, person crimes, which are your aggravated batteries, your shootings, your stabbings. Property crimes are your burglaries, grand theft autos, and we do a lot of cold cases. So being that technology is advancing, we've actually been able to close a lot of cases. We actually had a detective today that sent out an email and closed a case from 2001 today. So we did have a special project. Last year, we got a grant to help identify unidentified bodies. So we have a cemetery in Immokalee that housed a bunch of unidentified people. This is gonna sound bad, but we digged up 13 people and in hopes to help identify them. And so far, we've identified 5. And we were able to give them back to their families and they had got the proper burial. So that was a very cool thing that we did last year. So what is forensic evidence? Forensic evidence is latent prints, biological DNA, photography, ballistics, and trace. So photography. they're preserving evidence. That is the second most important thing about our job. We use the Nikon 7500. This beauty right here is very heavy with this flash. It is always attached to our hips. And if you ever see one of us, you will see this camera right here. We have to have it on us at all times. It does a lot. We are able to take, of course, photographs on here, and we also video record on here. So the video recording we mostly use for major cases. So if it's, for example, a homicide, we will go in and record the scene. So that way, if we don't capture everything in our photos, we also have the video recording. And it's also a safety thing so that when we leave, no one said that we took anything, because believe it or not, they say it. So we have that as insurance. And we also record our deputies when they're reading search warrants. So it's not as fancy as Brian, but we can do some things. We like to say pictures or it didn't happen. Documentation is very important for our job. Our pictures are everything because once we leave a scene, we cannot go back. We are there for the time being, and our pictures are how we write our reports, how we remember what the scene was when we have to go to court later on. A lot of people think court happens within a couple of days, months. No, sometimes you can be called in 2-3 years later, and you have to remember everything that you did, everything that you saw. So that's why our pictures are so important. We take pictures of everything. Yes.
Is there a standard focal length lens that you use or that everybody uses?
Yes, so we all have two types of lenses. Sorry, it's on here. It's so heavy. We have our standard lens. It goes by millimeters. So this one is the 67 millimeter. And then we also have a macro lens. I believe that one's 35. The macro lens we use for things that like our spent cases. If we want a really nice close up of a photo, we use our macro lens. And then the standard lens we're using that most of the time.
Did you say 57?
Yeah.
So you don't use a wide angle lens?
No.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so photography and videos, photographs and videos should show the scene as is. We do not manipulate anything. As soon as we're stepping in, we are capturing everything as is. If the lights are turned off, it's turned off. If the fan is on, it's on, and we photograph all of that. Our cameras, we do operate our cameras in manual. A lot of people do it in automatic. Ours is manual. We have to know how to set our aperture, our f-stop, our shutter speed. We do that ourselves. The way we take our photos are overall, mid-ranges, and close-up photographs. I'll show you an example. Another fancy tool that we have is called the Oscar 360. It's a type of camera. I also have that later on. We'll go over that. We also have an IR camera. We also take photographs of footwear, latent prints. We use alternate light sources, and we take aerials. And there is a such thing as nighttime and daytime photography. I'm on the day shift, Vic is on night shift. There's a big difference. Yes, my biggest battle is the sun. And she doesn't have that much of a battle because it's one setting all the time. So the sun can make it very tricky because I will have to constantly keep changing my settings to get the right picture. It'll either come out too bright, too dark. So I have to always make sure I know the right setting to capture the right picture.
Sometimes I just gotta raise my ISO just a little bit.
Yeah.
You shoot JPEG or RAW?
So we shoot both. So we shoot JPEG normally, but if we are capturing a photograph of any footwear or latent prints, we have to do that in RAW. And those photos are actually also used to be sent out to examiners, and they can actually use those photos to identify someone. So we have an identification section. So if we ever can't lift the print, or if we know if we lift it, it's not going to lift correctly, we will photograph it in RAW, and we will send it to our identification section, and they can use that photo to ID the person. So this is an example of overall, mid-range, and close-ups. So the overall is your first step. So I'm going to talk about the top part. The overall is showing the overall setting. So this was a hoarder house. No, this was someone who was squatting in someone's house. That's what that is. So we got this call because it came out as a burglary, and we had to go and photograph. So they the house was a mess. So we tried to take things that we know that we could get DNA off of or latent prints so that we're able to identify these people. So this is an overall of the kitchen slash dining room area. That's how we take our overalls. And this is a mid-range. So now she's focusing on, the CSI was focusing on the table. And then that's where you see the little tents. That's the only thing that's real on TV, those little tents. So you see her little tents where she's identifying, she puts down her evidence markers to identify what it is that she's collecting. And this is what we call a close-up. So then you get closer up and focus on what it is that you're actually collecting. So that was the polar pop. And then we would put scales to that. So the overall shows your general, the mid-range is more focused to the direction that you're going. And then our close-up is exactly what we're directly looking at. We also do the same thing for victims or suspects if we have to photograph them. This is not the real person, by the way. Didn't show his face, so I had to find somebody. So overall would be the general forward-facing self. And this is a mid-range because we're trying to focus on the things on his hands. So this is a mid-range. And then we got the close-up of the scar that we were trying to get. And then I had another photo of a close-up of the tattoo because that's used as an identifier. And the Oscar 360. So the Oscar 360, no. Yeah. So it obtains spherical photographs quickly, and it also has GPS coordinates. So we usually use this on major cases. So it is a legit 360 camera. And if you ever, you're gonna see the video. We have a video of it, but when we have to use it, we love it because it's so fun. It's like playing hide and seek because you can't be in the photo, so we have to hide. So, because it takes it 360. So if I were to put it in the room, I would have to be hiding like outside the door, in the corner, we're under things, under the bed, to get the perfect shot. So it comes with a little tablet. So you operate the tablet, you set it up on a little tripod. It's like this big. And it's a 360 lens, and you walk out and you set it to go on the tablet, and it does this thing, and it legit takes a picture. And when you see the picture on the program, because you have to go and upload it later, you think it's just a still photo, but you can slide it. And as you're sliding it, you're seeing the whole view of the rooms in a full circle. So that is so convenient for us because it eliminates us having to go and take those gajillion photos frame by frame by frame by frame because it has the whole entire room for us. So this is the video of how it works.
One of the greatest things about an investigator going into a crime scene is that everybody's looking to you to gather the evidence, document the evidence, because you know it's going to be a trial on the road.
The very first thing that's paramount is crime scene preservation. So we don't want to introduce anything to the scene that wasn't already there.
A lot of times people touch things, they kick things, they move things. Going into that scenario, you have a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety.
Oscar is a 360-degree spherical imaging capture system. It captures the crime scene and it's in the 360-degree sphere. When I first saw it, I was very excited about the camera itself, but the excitement was what you can do with that software after the initial image capture.
And one of the greatest things that I feel that Oscar does allows you to take additional pictures with your SLR, and then you can put it into the system as a point of interest with the Oscar program.
Because it takes care of all my raw images, takes care of my videography. There's less people and there's less time that I'm actually spending the scene as well.
The camera system in the program allows you to input anything into your project. And what more do you need? Because when you hand it off to the prosecutor, they got it all on the thumb drive. There's your whole case file.
There's a lot of times questions are, did you get a shot of this or that item of this? And you get back and talk about investigators and maybe you didn't know this guy in the scene.
It's so frustrating when you know you leave a crime scene, you're driving away and you say, I only did this.
So with Oscar, you had that image. You may surprise yourself on the evidence that you initially collected that you didn't think was valuable.
It eliminates the anxiety factor because you're going to capture exactly what the scene looks like.
So that really earns itself a separation from what it's out there now. It's all about crime scene preservation. This allows you to do that.
You can stop it. It's extra up. So that is our Oscar. It's so fun. I love it. And the part where he inserted that knife, we definitely use that capability as well, especially when it goes to our state attorneys, when we give them a copy of it. You can insert little notes within that moment, and you can tell them where you found certain things. So you can say, this is where I found the knife, EM1. You can say, this is where I found the victim, EM2, or whatever. So they are able to see it within that. So we don't even have to talk to them. They legit have the whole scene and everything that we collected in the one thumb drive from that one Oscar. So fun. So this is an example. Unfortunately, I had to get shot. I couldn't get the one where you can turn it. So this is the plane crash. That is one of our CSIs, Rachel. She's up there. That's the Oscar in her hand. And this is what it looked like after she took it. But of course, we were able to turn it around. Can't show you, but this is what it looked like from up top. She also did it on the inside, which was really cool. I couldn't get that picture because there was unfortunately not much in there, but it was also really, really good to see what the inside of it looked like because a lot of we weren't allowed to go in. So just by having the Oscar, we stuck it in there and it did its thing. And now we have a photograph of what was inside. Another part of our job is taking photographs of footwear and latents. So we have this technique that we call oblique lighting. So sometimes when you get to a scene and there's footwear, it's hard for you to photograph it. And that's the most stressful part about our job, because sometimes we can see things with our eyes, but then when we go to take a picture of it, you can't. It's either it's blocking it out or your flash is too bright. Even if you're bouncing your flash, the lighting is just not working out. So we have something that we call oblique lighting that we use, and we use it with our flash. So we have a shoe cord and we hold the flash at an angle, and that way you're able to see. So this is a burglary that I had, and there was they rummaged an office and they happened to step on this piece of paper. So if you're looking at the before, you can kind of see something on the left side, but you don't know what it is. And that's me taking a straight shot of it using my flash, straight shot. And this is after I used oblique lighting. So now I can see the pattern of the shoe. So we're able to use that. And this floor was very tricky, another burglary, and it was in dust. So you can't really see the print, but this is after oblique lighting. We would do it in the front and in the back so that you have both angles of the shoe. And we actually use those photos to send to examiners, and they can use it as well to identify the shoe print. This is another example, taking it on straight ahead, you see nothing. And that's it with the oblique lighting. You can kind of see the outline of the shoe print. That's just a bloody foot. Footprint. And that's another footprint in dirt. And we would usually photograph these, and these are the ones that we do in NEF. So we would photograph these in raw NEF, and then we would also cast them, lift them up, and preserve them. And this is an example of latent prints. We use, we also take these in NEF on a tripod. So we'll set up our cameras on a tripod, get as close as you can to the print on the wall, and then we photograph it. And you lift it if you can. If not, you have the photographs. This is the alternate light source slide. So alternate light source. So we have a lot of chemicals that we can use to, they call it dye staining. We use these chemicals to enhance a print or enhance things so that we can see them. So when we're using these chemicals, we can only see them using a certain wavelength of light. So this, for example, these are fingerprints on a Sprite can. So these were sprayed with red dye. And in order to see it, it had to be at a 450 nanometer. So that's what we had to set the light at in order for us to take the picture and capture that print. And that picture, again, we can send to our identification girls and they can go ahead and ID it. So this is another example of using the alternate light source. So we also use it for semen, and that's also 450 nanometers. So we would need it to be completely dark. We have our own flashlights, and we'll scan a room, and it fluoresces if it's positive for semen, and if it's not, it'll look like that. And that's an example of it on a shirt. And this is blood. that picture's kind of blown out, but that is blood all over a t-shirt that you can only see on a certain wavelength with the, our alternate light source. This is basically luminol. We call it Blue Star. And for that, we also need it to be completely dark. And that's where handling our cameras come in. Because once you spray this, you have 5 seconds to take this photo because it starts to disappear. And the more you spray it, you're diluting it. So it won't fluoresce anymore. So this is where we have to get our settings correct, where you have to learn your settings so that you're able to capture this photo. I actually took this photo in training. It was really cool. This is another training that I attended. So the object, she wanted to make sure that we knew how to take the photo and know our settings for Blue Star. So we were supposed to find out who had bloody feet in this photo. And the only way for you to tell is by taking the photo, use in the right settings so that it would luminesce. So that was the example above. So as you can see, you don't see any blood under anyone's feet, and he's the culprit. Okay, so the IR camera, we actually just acquired this IR camera. It's the best thing that we ever got. It's a Fujifilm, and it is an infrared camera. It penetrates through surface layers. So this is an example that I got off of Google, so you can see how it penetrates through the skin. This is an actual highlight that we had. So we had a dead person, and we needed help identifying that. A medical examiner's office actually needed help identifying him because they could not figure out who he was. So he happened to have a tattoo on him. But if you look at the first picture, you can't tell what that is. After using the IR camera, I know it's a little hard to see, but it's actually a bulldog with a C. So they were able to use that and enter it into our database, and that's how they were able to identify who this person was. And this is another example of the IR camera. So that's a regular black shirt. As you can see, you're photographing it, you see nothing on it. After using the IR, this is all blood that was all over the shirt. Paint by light and time exposure. So this is something that Vic uses a lot because this is how we brighten the scene. So this is actually taken back at the office and training. So this is regular settings. This is exactly what the photo looked like. You can't see the building in the back. You can see the trees. You can see a couple things, but you don't know what you're looking at. And this is after using our time exposure. So upping our ISO, lowering the stop, doing all the things that we need to do. This is a training thing that we do with all our newbies because they have to know how to operate the camera in manual, because then they would go on scenes and come back with photos like this. And they need to know how do you bring light to a dark scene. So this was an example. So we did paint by light. We don't usually use it that often because we're not usually in big spaces like this, but we have had times where one of the supervisors, she had a call like on a football field, and she had to show the football field. And it was after hours, so it was dark. So she had to know how to use the camera to be able to show that she was standing on the football field. And we take aerials, again, not as cool as Brian, but we do get to go in the helicopter. Yep. It's everyone's favorite thing to do. I don't like heights, so I prefer not. If you all saw the other girls, they love it. So when we get with the aviation guys, we have to set up, we usually do this for any homicide or major case. This is to capture what the area looked like at the time of the crime, because again, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, when this goes to court, that area is not gonna look like that anymore. So we always go and get aerial photographs. We work with the aviation guys, they take us up there. We're legitimately hanging over the helicopter. This is why I stay in the office and I don't. And they took these photos, and it's fun when we go with them because we're never up there with them. So they usually drive us around. They take us to go see the beach, and it's so fun. But this one was a good example because this was actually a homicide for one of the girls. So the homicide happened over here, and the suspect fled in the car. So at the time, we found the car later on, but you never knew what he traveled or anything. So if you look closely, this is oil. and it told us exactly where he went. We were able to, when going up there, so we didn't even know that that was happening at the time. She was just up there to take the regular aerial photos and noticed the oil. So then the aviation guy's like, hey, you want to follow it? And she's like, yeah. So follow the oil, and it led them exactly to where we found the suspect's car afterwards. So this is the first picture of where he exited. So, and it's funny because at a certain time it did stop, but that's because he was accelerating in speed. So as he was trying to speed up to get to here, the oil was leaking. So then after he turns on this road, it stops. And then it picks back up right here at this stop sign because he was slowing down. There was a stop sign right here. So he was slowing down. So as he's slowing down, he's leaking. And we're able to see that. And if you go to the next slide, he parked the car here. This is exactly how we were able to figure out the legit path that he took. And then when they apprehended him, he told us, this is the legit path that I took. So that was a very, very cool moment. So our job in a nutshell is legit photography and preserving evidence. So it is something that we do. Thank you. It is something that we do frequently. We do attend a ton of trainings. We go to different type of trainings. We had to go to trainings for the Oscar. We had to go to training for the IR camera. And we're continuing to grow. So if you guys have any ideas of any cameras we need, you let me know.
You guys.
Oh, hold on. Thank you. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You guys do underwater photography at all?
No, we don't.
That stuff.
We work the drownings, but they retrieve them for us, so we don't go under the water.
We have a dive team that.
Yeah.
I usually do underwater photography for dive.
Oh, nice. Yeah, our dive team guys usually just go and get
So we'll be
things
picking
for
your brain later.
Yes.
Do you have to, I mean, do you keep all your images in perpetuity? I mean, or do they get cleared out after the case closes?
No, so we all have SD cards that we rotate. The SD cards do get formatted, but they are uploaded into our 4A system. It's our evidence management system. So as soon as we come get back to the office from a scene, we upload our photos there. And then we just reuse the SD card.
Stays there in perpetuity?
Forever.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Does your canine unit have bomb and drug sniffing capability?
I think so, yes.
We can't really speak too much about it because it's not our expertise, but we do have one. Actually, Canine Nitro is one of our bomb ones, I believe. The one that was photographed earlier in the flower field. So he's pretty fun.
I would say yes, because there's some of them I can pet and there's some of them I can't. So, yes.
Story about Nitro, I was photographing an event one time and he picks up on equipment that could be disguised as a bomb. Did not like my camera and jumped up and got a little feedback. So yeah.
So yeah. Yes.
Well, this has been a great presentation. I thought I went kind of bored tonight, which is really good.
Yes.
You have feedback. Says, because you're so sophisticated, what you do when you cover everything in it with the Oscar, you got everything there. Do you have any feedback on the final conclusion of the cases that you do supply this data to, the conviction rate, based on what you provide?
I would say we do play a big part. Usually people don't see the background work, but we do play a big part because if it weren't for our photos, sometimes the detectives can't enter a scene. Sometimes we go in and we take the photos and we record and we have to come out and show them what it looks like in there. So, and there's some times where, like the sheriff, for example, he doesn't come out, so he doesn't know what was there up until he sees our crime scene photographs, talk to the detectives and things like that. So we do play a big part in those conviction rates. It's not broadcasted, but we're there.
Good.
I think someone over here had a question. Yes.
B-roll earlier. What is that?
That's just like whenever you're watching a video, you have some like of the footage that kind of overplays what you're doing voiceover, kind of like the background footage. we go out and capture that for general needs. So oftentimes you'll see like on our social media, we do a lot of informational videos. So we'll use that, and we kind of just keep a surplus of that in terms of between our office.
Yeah, so the term B-roll on a Hollywood set, you have your A cam and then you have your B cam, and then some other ones have C, D, whatever. That's where the term kind of comes from. It's just additional footage of the same scene. Right. Yeah.
If we want to follow you on social media, where would we look?
Let's do it.
Wow.
Yes, sir. In court?
Testify?
Yes, so we actually always depot. Sometimes our state attorneys are awesome, because sometimes we don't even make it that far. We just go to the deposition and we explain to them what we found. And most of the times the cases are kind of cut and dry. I have the photographs. I was there and this is exactly what was there. So 9 times out of 10, there's no pleading your way out. But yes, we do go to court and testify too.
And then are you recording to like 2 cards at the same time?
No, it's all on one SD card.
But you're just recording to one SD card, you don't worry about having maybe a failure in that card or either.
Backups, but they haven't failed me yet. I've actually, yes. Well, secret, don't tell anybody. I actually washed an SD card. It was in my uniform pants and I washed it and it still works. Yes, sir.
Training videos for the department.
Do we have training videos?
Do you manufacture or create training videos?
Our office actually does.
Caitlin does that. Yeah.
Brian and I often get the department leads and we'll plan and coordinate with them to come up with some training videos. We actually have, Brian created one before I got hired with media relations for like our new hires to kind of get a feel of what the organization brings and what we have capable and stuff. And then you take it over.
It just depends on what the training is on. If it's on certain equipment, then it usually comes from the manufacturer of that equipment. The only type of training videos that I've done, they requested a training division or our range division for the disassembly and the cleaning of the Glock weapon. So I did that, and it was just a step-by-step, top-down shot, and I had that soldier from that unit come in and kind of walk me through the step. And then we did a voiceover for those, and then they get uploaded online. And then the only other one that I've done is a fentanyl exposure. So teaching our deputies what to do when exposed, alphabeted to fentanyl. So
that was a good one.
Yes, sir.
Oh, he has a question.
What's interesting is that the public only sees the face of the sheriff's department or the police with the actual officers on site. But your technical unit sounds to me like it's the backbone of everything that you do. So relatively speaking, how many officers does the sheriff's department in Collier County have as an example? And what's the size of the technical staff that supports and does everything like you?
I'm not familiar with the actual numbers. We do have more certified deputies and we do have civilian staffing. But very similar to what you said, we rely heavily on our civilian staff as well. We're all civilians here. So we all have to undergo special trainings in order to, work through it. We also go through significant background checks and things like that with the hiring process. So
and a lot of our deputies are certified and civilian, they have many roles, the sheriff's office. So there's a lot of certified that are part of our drone, our dive team. They all have multiple roles.
It's a great opportunity if you know anybody who wants to kind of get their foot in the door with the sheriff's office. You never know what opportunity you can get. I never thought I would be doing photography or videography full time. I again started as an analyst in our real-time crime center. So I aided in investigations and now I'm doing videos and social media. So completely 2 different realms. You never know what career path you'll take with the sheriff's office. So
She had a question.
Fatal car accident, is that you or FHP?
If it's here, it's usually FHP, but we also have a what are they called? Vehicular homicide unit. So we don't go to the car crashes. They assist FHP and they do their own investigation alongside FHP. So we don't go to those.
Any other questions? Any chance Collier County gonna get on Patrol Live? Lee County's on it right now.
I've seen it a few times. It's just our deputies are always so busy with things, so sometimes it's just hard with scheduling. It does come through our office, so it just depends on what's going on with our agents at the time.
Thank you, guys. It's been very special for you to be here tonight and to join with us. You're welcome to stay for the entire meeting. You can stay until after the meeting if you want.
Sorry,
Guard the building. Art is up next.
Boy, that was a great presentation. Thank you very much. Really enjoyable. I'm here to talk about the digital competition. Would you do me a favor and take your ticket out and put it in front of you? Please, this is not part of the contest, but I need you to take your ticket that you received from Christina and put it in front of you or have it available. We're going to do an exercise tonight that will require your ticket number. Okay, so follow along. We had 191 images. I thought that the contest was really well received. The blue ribbons and the yellow ribbons are based upon 10% of the average score. So the top 10% are the blue ribbons. The second 10% are the yellow ribbons.
15%.
Pardon me?
15%.
I stand corrected. Next time, we are going to post the scores. And in order to do that, you're going to check off on a checkbox whether you are willing to allow your score to be posted. Okay, so check that. And also comments. If you would allow the comments that you receive to be posted, make a check there as well. That will be in the course of the submissions. And I think if you do that, it will be very good for everyone to be able to see the scores and figure out where they stood in regard and relationship to other people.
Speak from the judges?
Yes. Right now, this time, the comments from the judges were only seen by the makers. And we did not post the scores either. But we'd like to do that. I think that'll be a good thing. And if you choose not to have your scores posted, well, simply don't hit the checkbox. What we're going to do tonight is have an exercise with groups discussing the top 4 images. My job was really easy because there was only one top scoring image in each of the 4 categories. So what we're going to do is take 5 minutes for each of the winning photos in each category and discuss why it won, maybe ask some questions about what techniques were used, ask questions about what effect it had. If you don't know, maybe you can ask the person next to you some questions. Of course, it would have been nice to have had the name tags. That way, when you're sitting next to someone you don't know, you might be able to remember who it is. And that's how I remember things. But in any case, I'm going to have you get up and move around. Take your stuff with you because we're going to go on break right after this. So if you have a number 1 as the last digit on your card, please move over to this table. Okay? A number 2, move to this table. You should be moving already. Come on, guys. Number 2 over here. Number 3 here. Number 4 back there. Number 4. Get up and move. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7 back there. 7. 8. Okay, very good. My 10th graders did that about half the time.
We're out of practice.
All right, hopefully you're in the right group, but if you're not, it doesn't matter. Okay, sit down. Here's what we're gonna do. Spend 5 minutes not introducing yourselves to one another, but instead talk about each photo, each image that is on the screen. I'll time you. After 5 minutes, the number 6 group is having trouble here after school. After 5 minutes, the reason I'm hurrying is we haven't got a lot of time. Here I thought this was going to be a strength adults to do, right? If you don't know where you're supposed to sit, sit anywhere. It doesn't matter. One over there. Okay, let's hear it for the 2 group. You guys are pretty good. Here we go. Please give me your attention. Everyone's introducing themselves. Okay. Getting 5 minutes, talk about the pictures. Why do you think it won? What about it is good? If you have any questions, ask one another. There's likely to be a judge in 2 of the tables. The makers there are 1 or 2 of the makers of these at the tables as well, so they'll talk about their pictures. Okay, so here's the first one. Malin Roya.
I just swipe the screen.
Swipe the screen.
Swipe, tap, swipe.
There we go. Traditional color, Donna Kalea, coming at you. Okay, 5 minutes. Here you go.
So what do you like?
Yeah.
Traditional color.
Hey, Art, what did you get, what color ribbon did you get for that?
Blue. This was the first place image in the creative category. All four of these images had the highest mark in each of the categories. Fortunately for me, I didn't have to make a decision as to which one to put up there. There were only four top.
What was, the girl in front of the fireplace, what was that?
That was the human portraiture.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
And this was the image or set of images that Don used to create that final image. Don, I believe that I misspoke. It is the many faces of pain. Of pain, correct? Yes, the many faces of pain. I apologize for that. Okay? And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this exercise. I hope you learned something from your neighbors. Hope you enjoyed sharing what you knew and what you didn't know. We're going to go on a quick break, Sonny, or no break at all? 5 minutes, get some water, go to the bathroom, grab something to eat, and please come back quickly because we're running a little bit over time. Thank you very much.
Be sure and check out the free table. We don't want to take any of
Where's John?
Fine, everybody, see. Everybody, see. Yeah. Okay, our David's gonna give us a presentation on dips through Miami. I actually did the first one many years ago. There was a group of us that went over and did it, and they won't allow me to go back.
That's not quite true. But anyway, almost on a yearly basis, a group of us have gone to Miami for one day, and I lightheartedly called it Dips Do Miami, just because it sounded funny. And we've always had a good time. Miami, as you all know, is not Naples. So we get an opportunity to see lots of different things. And if you keep your eyes open and you have a camera ready, you can photograph some very interesting places and people, activities, etc. This is a compilation of about 5 images from each of the participants who went last Saturday. Malin, hit it. Should have some music there, huh? Yeah. Zoom. It should automatically run. Okay. I think you have to take it off. Do the first one. So that's the first one. First. We had music on it, but come along. This is from Little Havana. They hand roll cigars. And you can go into the shops where they make the cigars and you can watch them, smoke a cigar with them if you like. I did.
How much was that cigar?
$3.89. They have music in some of the bars and cafes coming out into the street. People are dancing on the street. So it's a wonderful experience. Great architecture. I think Malin had a number of shots of architecture. As did Jim and Joe.
Did you stay overnight?
No, we did not. It's only about a 2-hour drive there. We leave at 6 and we return generally around 4 or 5. This is in the Domino Park, right in Little Havana. Lots of characters, lots of fun.
Yeah, ask these people if you can take.
You do not. It's kind of a public thing. And they let you take photos. And this is in a store that has musical instruments and I believe Porsches. In Wynwood, if you've never been to Wynwood, you should get there. It's a magnificent place. I have no idea where that is. Somewhere in Miami. Great shot.
That's a great shot.
Of the Domino Park. And Joe Fitzpatrick has one as well. Joe Parisi did that, yeah.
We're gonna be okay.
Some great black and white photography coming up. This was just Saturday, so these people did not have a lot of time to process their images.
She said, "Is that you, Joe?"
I found that if you ask people nicely to take their picture, they usually allow it. There's another great shot of the hands. In Cuba, we paid them. We asked for permission and most of them wanted a coup, which was we paid.
Lots of colorful characters, as you might imagine. I spent about 20 minutes just having fun following bike riders and so forth.
Did you shoot that in 180th or what did you shoot?
I think it's 160th. Close to.
Christina.
They had Porsches in that store as well. This is typical of Wynwood. It's a 10 square block area of warehouses and again, lots of stores and, upscale boutiques and restaurants and stuff like that. A lot of fun.
Yeah, college.
And the artwork is phenomenal, despite the fact that it's in a graffiti situation. It's really fabulous artwork. Lots of beautiful architecture there. We passed this and Don said, look at that. I go, what? He says, look in there. Look at that barbershop. I said, oh, great spot. And you got that picture. You really have to keep your eyes open to see what's going on. Some more great shots of the domino park. The guy on the right was taken at the restaurant we ate at. It was just a great place, open air, good food and so forth.
Complain about taking pictures of them?
No, no one that I knew of. Everyone was smiling and having a good time. I walked by this guy and he gave me the kind of, Zen thing. I still kept on walking. It's in Wynwood Walls. And that's it.
Now, the first time we went over, Art won't tell you, but I think one of his photographs won $5,000 or $6,000, if I remember correctly. And that was the first time we went over. So anyway, okay, next.
Nope. Sorry, we got some inserts here that Sonny knew about.
Oh, there's nothing on the sheet.
I know. The sheets.
They don't tell me.
It's an outline. I told you, but we got other outings we want to talk about just quickly. A few of you went up to Venice a few days ago. When was it anyway? I've lost track. And Larry put together just a few slides on from the folks that were there. This from Larry Tire. Oh, nice. Nancy Farinella.
Gone.
Spooner,
Babies with prehistoric.
yeah, and Paul McKinney. That's it.
What's left of it?
The report I got from Paul was that it had a lot of damage from the hurricanes last year. It was about 2/3 in operation.
At Venice Beach, we usually have a 5K there, and the beach, you can't get anywhere.
Yeah,
I guess yours is gone, right? Yes.
don't know. Other outings coming up. Just today, is Nancy here? Where are you, Nancy? Nancy Farinella has set up an outing to go to the Village Walk, Butterfly Garden Walk. Village Walk, Butterfly Garden Club, Butterflies Walk. We're going to do this on April 5th. Is that right?
Yes.
Is that my recollection correct there? At 10 o'clock in the morning, Nancy will be up there. We will have, I just got it like at 5 o'clock today, so we didn't get a slide on it, but we will go up there anytime during the day. Nancy will be there from 10 till 12 or so anyway, and then she thinks that's the best time to go. Details will be on the website in a couple of days.
Where is it?
Village Walk is in Bonita Springs. Oh, and there will be a $10 donation requested for you, so plan on that.
All right.
Yes.
Maintained by the residents of the.
She didn't want to talk, but she's going to talk. Thank you, Nancy. Thanks for doing that. Now, the rest of you, where else do you want to go? What else do you want to see? Where do you want to go take pictures? Come on. Come on, help me out here. Yeah.
I took a trip over to the Murakami Japanese garden in Delray Beach, I think it is.
Okay.
It was beautiful, and if you pay a fee, you can go in there before they open at 8 o'clock in the morning. And Monday, they're not open at all, so you pay a fee, certain number of people can go in with your group.
Okay.
And it's really a beautiful place.
Why don't you email me some info on it? And are you willing to do an outing, lead an outing over there? Okay. That's the kind of help we need right now. We are looking to get more outings set up throughout the year, so ideas you've got to come up with. Whereas Bert Saunders here gave me some ideas earlier, we're going to work on those as well. In May, we're going to have an outing again to go catch the burrowing owls. We're going to see if we can drag them out of their burrows and take pictures of them. Jim is going to host us for that again this year. Do we have a date yet, Jim?
I think it's 10.
We're going to shoot for the 10th of May, and we'll have more details on that as soon as they're available.
Another good place, I don't know if any of you have done it, you probably have, but Tarpon Springs is great. If you want to see the old Greek style boats and the restaurants in the town, Tarpon Springs would be a great outing. A bit of a drive, but it'd be a great outing. Also, I presume Richard's going to talk about the conference, but it's not the end of the world. If you don't want to stay in a hotel room, you want to save a few bucks, just drive up and drive back same day. I've done that before. So think about it, unless you don't like driving after dark, because you leave there at 5 or 6 o'clock, you might be driving after the sun sets, but I've done it. I've gone up to Sarasota. I've gone up to Tarpon Springs for a day trip. But anyway, okay. So I'm sure Richard's Richard's next. Huh?
I'm at the same time. 2 weeks close. 2 weeks till our conference. And no, if you don't want to drive, if you took off next Saturday, you could walk there. Yeah, this for moments. So well, what can I say? The conference is Friday for the workshop, Saturday and Sunday for the get together. Last year we had 44 breakout sessions. And it was marvelous. This year we have almost 80 breakout sessions.
Yeah.
If you can't find something to occupy your time, you need to find a different
a different hobby, maybe stop when you race truck.
Yeah.
So you get a discount to be in the club, you get a chance to meet some new people, here's some new ideas.
Was $89 if you wanted to pick a signals of $89?
You all want to talk about campus.
110.
110,
Please,
if you're a member
if you
here.
haven't decided to do it, just do it. Don't pretend you're a knight, just do it. I hope, yes, sir.
You want to mention tomorrow's surprise announcement?
I can mention tomorrow's surprise announcement. For those of you who are even cheaper than I am, we're offering a one-day special rate. For just one day, so that you can drive up, spend less money, come to the conference, and then drive home and be, oh, well. What's the rate?
89.
$89. $89 for about a choice of maybe close to 40 different workshops. Neat stuff, and we have live models, pretty people that you can take pictures of. You know, you're gonna have fancy outfits. So it's gonna be all you camera screening, your seven done, and calibrated against your lenses, all that's happening about the conference. So please, put it on your, yes, sir.
If we go all 3 days, how much is it?
All 3 days? Well, the 2 days is our ticket comes to about 159.
110 for DPI-SIG members.
DPI-SIG members, and on the Friday, those are workshops, and you pay for those separate.
Okay.
So, you know, those people gotta make a living too. It's all on our website. So Friday, workshops, they're paid extras. Saturday and Sunday, it's all inclusive.
Okay.
Oh, and we serve breakfast. You can even get breakfast out of it. Such a deal. I'll see you there.
Yeah, if you just want to go up for a Saturday, for $89, this is the most spectacular, largest conference we have ever done. There are more speakers at this conference than we've ever had in the past conferences. So you really, I mean, you're missing a huge opportunity by not going to this conference. Even if you just want to go for the one day, drive up and drive back. Don't stay overnight in a hotel. All right, okay. So next, Chuck Bloom.
Is he here?
3 smartphone tips.
Is he here?
Is Chuck here?
Sure.
Okay, next. No. Are we doing this via Zoom or is he here?
He's not here.
He's not here, and it's not a Zoom presentation. All right, we're gonna move on then, I guess, to the theme show, which is something I quite enjoy. Stick around for the drawing after the theme show. You might win that car. Sonny brought a brand new Ferrari for first prize.
All right, we're ready to do our drawing. By the way, this